Well, E-Week is Engineers Week, and it's based off the fact that St. Patrick was an engineer.
E-Week is totally dedicated to engineers. It began in 1903 when engineers went to school 6 days out of the week, and they were tired of that.
Engineers who wanted a day off of school marched to Jesse and told the dean that they wanted a day off of school, and the dean told them no, but they still took it anyway. And they did that on St. Patty's Day.
And St. Patrick was dubbed the patron saint of engineering.
Now it's expanded to an entire week. It's basically just a week of activities that engineers and people who are not actually part of engineering can come out and just really celebrate being an engineer.
I originally joined St. Pat's Board my freshman year. It was actually just kind of a spur of the moment, almost kind of thing. I really wanted to get involved, but I really just didn't know what to get involved with. I definitely was just, I guess, perplexed about like what was going on with St. Patrick and engineering and like what the connection was. And so I thought by getting on St. Pat's Board, I could not only learn that, but also contribute to that.
We start meetings kind of mid-semester, first semester. And meetings happen every other week, first semester. Second semester, we meet every week, and there's a lot of planning. Different events are planned by different committees, so each committee has their own event.
Many challenges that I face would have to be, just from the president point of view, I've looked at like all of these committees, and even though I've been a part of like 2 of them, I've been on the board for already like 3 or 4 years, it's almost kind of, you know, it almost took me aback a bit because, yeah, how much did I really know these committees and what they really did? The work is a lot, especially when it comes to deadlines and, you know, communicating effectively with your other committee members as well as just the committee chairs.
Really, a lot of the work is done by the chairs because it's just easier for them because they know everything that's going on, and it's easier. Then being a chair, it was a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, dedication, but I loved it. I love planning events, I love organizing things, so I thought it was great.
You never really know how much work goes into what they do unless you really think about or like place yourself into that element, because they definitely all do a lot of work. Even like probably the smallest committee that doesn't do quite as much, they're still doing a lot that I probably never realized before.
Knowing that behind it all, there's a lot more effort and a lot more work than what the actual event shows. Going into it, like just like noticing the little details of what's happened, like even like noticing like a tray of cupcakes that say like Mizzou Engineering Student Council sponsored. I know how much like effort that actually went into, instead of just like, oh yeah, a tray of cupcakes. Like it took about a week and a half to get a tray of cupcakes from Mizzou Engineering Student Council. Like there's so much time and involvement went into everything, and so yeah, it's much more appreciative.
I'm currently one of the co-presidents for the Engineers Club St. Pat's Board.
Now I am the St. Pat's Ball Chair.
I'm in charge of professor for a day, and I have a 1-person committee under me.
Definitely did do some research on a lot of these committees and like what they do.
Talking to the hotel, getting a DJ.
We contact professors.
Put myself in their shoes, more or less, to see like what I would do if I was in their place.
Figuring out food, dessert, everything that you could think of when going to like a dance.
There's like the hot dog banquet, there's the dome lighting ceremony, and there's skits and barbecue. Just a ton of different activities that are involved in E-Week all have to start through St. Pat's Board.
Sleeping definitely suffers, and many engineers talk about that. Like we spend all hours studying or working on something, whether it's fun or schoolwork. But E-Week stuff is typically more fun than studying, so sometimes that gets done before the studying. Also, it's planning. Like I said, I love to plan.
It kind of cuts into the sleep factor, but just kind of making it so that I have good time management. Never really a dull moment when you're part of St. Pat's Board.
I feel that E-Week brings almost a sense of escape for the engineers, you know? I would have to say if you ask any engineer, if you know any engineer, you know that they're always just cramming for study, you know, for tests, always studying, always up late, doing their homework. we study while you sleep kind of thing. So I definitely have to say, I feel like it's more of like an escape for all of us. It's a time where we're actually, I guess, appreciated more or less, and we get a time to just kick back and kind of relax and go out with our friends.
E-Week brings engineering, I don't know, a breath of fresh air, I guess, because engineers throughout the year usually have a pretty tough curriculum. And so whenever E-Week comes around, it's just like a time to, kind of loosen up, let back.
If one usually feels on the outside, then when you get to feel like, hey, you're part of something special, kind of like being in one of those secret societies, kind of like that. Although St. Pat's Sport as a whole is not a secret society.
And then this side of it is like planning and setting up events and talking to people and like emailing. It's a whole different aspect that I wasn't really prepared for, but it's actually turned out to be very beneficial because it brought me into the business side of things, in which all engineers should have.
It means a lot of things to me, actually. It just means a lot of memories, I could say. Good times, I guess a home in my heart,